Hi, this is Null Inquisitor, and today I'm going to create a monster! I'm going to the Frankenstein lab, and I'm going to put on my lab coat and design a monster for my Anoran campaign. So, I don't know why, during the night I think about a dog-sized centipede that could eat portion of your past and maybe eat your dreams. So I will try to create this monster for my campaign. Uh, this I didn't prepare for it so it's going to be a design experiment, and I already know pretty much what I want. I have this idea in my head, and in GURPS, it's the way to go. You start from your idea, and you work your way towards that goal. So I already opened my GURPS character set 2 campaigns at chapter 16, Animals and Monsters, and I flipped through it, and I want something that is the size of a dog, but maybe more the size of a large boar, and it will be an insectoid creature, a centipede-like creature. I found a picture on the web, and I will load it here. So I did a small search on the web, and I found this interesting picture that I will use to as a visual reference for this creature. I recommend that you read chapter 16 about monsters, animals, animal stats, and that you familiarize yourself with it before designing your creature. It will give you all the pointers you need to do it. So in this case, I will choose my strategy will be to use an already existing creature and add stuff to it to bring it to what I want. Um, the main feature of this monster will be the power to eat portion of your past. So I will design it with the affliction advantage in GURPS, in the GURPS basic set characters. So I will do that last, since it's very important and I will need to design it more. So this monster will be called, I don't know, a past heater or a dream heater. Dream heater sound better, maybe? Maybe like this. Okay, dream heater. So this creature will be known as the dream heater by the desert people who know what this creature can do. So it will have already a bad reputation, like a very venomous snake or a very dangerous creature. So the dream heaters will be known for this ability. Of course, maybe some area knowledge of the locale or the area should be required to know that. And if any of my players are listening or watching right now, that doesn't mean that this creature will get an appearance in the next game. Though I will add this creature to the possibilities of encounter in my campaign. So beware of the dream heaters. So the description will be a large sized desert centipede that eats dreams and portions of your past and memories. Very vicious creature. So it must be psychic in some way. maybe magically psychic. I don't know. So I opened the book at chapter 16. I have the wild boars stats in front of me, the large one, and I'm gonna just copy the stats of this boar. So 15 of strength seems right, 12 in dexterity also, 5 is maybe a bit high in IQ for a creature. Let's see, an IQ of 5 is the average monkey. So I will get that down a little bit to the average dog level. I could go down as the average as the average horse or ox, but this creature have this psychic ability, so I guess it would make sense to make it a little bit more intelligent. Boars are very resistant. They have, of course, hit points, very good. They have good willpower too, and their fatigue point must be equal to their health, although we don't use much fatigue points for a creature. Their basic speed is 6.5. So I'm just copying the stats of the creature here. So it's an 8. They have 10 in dodge. They don't have a parry, of course. None applicable. They do have a size modifier of +1. They take 2 X's. And they weigh 400 pounds. That seems right. They don't block. They will have a DR, indeed, and their hit point will be current hit point will be 15. All right, so they have 15 in strength. I don't think I will change that, so I will just copy my little template here and replace the stats over there and get rid of this. There you go. Now the traits. The traits of a large boar. They have bad temper, combat reflexes, cutting crashers in the form of tusks, damage resistance of 2, quadruped, and wild animal. So, first of all, the bad temper trait I will get rid of because it's an insectoid and potentially psychic race, rather creature. Combat reflexes seems good, just because of a lot of animals have it. They have cutting strikers. Looking at this creature here, I will make them impaling striker, just because they look like little pointy claws, so they look more nasty. So that will, yeah, claws, cutting impaling strikers, claws. They will have a DR of, well, boars have DRs of 2, but this creature looks like a little bit more armored than that. Maybe not like I will raise it to 3, just because it's a little bit more armored than a boar, but not quite as much as somebody in a full plate with that, which would be higher than 5. Yeah, and it have a pretty good dodge, so I could, well, tell you what, I'm gonna aim lower than higher. You know, the typical Dream Hater will have a DR of 3, but I can make exceptions and maybe have larger Dream Hater and just boost the DR later on. So I'm gonna just go lower. It's a good idea to do this type of thing. The traits quadruped. I will have to check if this creature is quadrupedal, although it has many more. Yeah. Let me have a look. Quadruped. What do they mean by that? Of course, they mean a creature on their fours, but does this mean that the creature is this a template, or is it a disad? That is my question. Looks more like it already made up. Maybe I should have put on some research before doing the video. All right, where is it? Where is it? I just need to know what quadrupedal mean. Doesn't seems like a disad. So this is the portion of the video where you should. Okay, I'm gonna put it on and just check that out later. It doesn't have any consequences on my idea of the creature anyway. And I'm gonna, of course, add a wild animal template just because it's a wild animal. It's not good to train or. Okay. So the basic traits are now done. All I need now is skills. They didn't put on some skills for the wild boar. That's strange. So I'm gonna add one. Typical creatures have at least brawling at their dexterity level. Mine will also have stealth because of capability to hide itself in the sand, maybe. And also the typical survival skill. I will give it at 14 since it's pretty much a brutal place. Alright, it's done. So now I will need to calculate their claw attack. And I'll do it like this, like with little bullets, claws, and I will have my special power of dream eating, which will be an affliction. Yeah, I'm gonna do this rather here. Dream eating. Dot dot dot. Affliction. All right. So so I have my damage score right here, my thrusting and my swing. So I'm just gonna calculate this. So the strikers I have chosen does impaling damage. Impaling damage will be, and I'm looking right now in the basic set characters. Striker advantage, crushing, cutting, or impaling for 8 points. If this were a character, I would bother with the points, but it's not the case. So the character will do damage, thrust damage in thrust damage plus at +1 per die for impaling. So since I have 1 die of damage, this would mean 1 dice +2. This is pretty high, but it fits the idea that this creature will try to grab its victims and will try to bite them and suck some memories from them. So claws, 1 die +2. Right, and I'm nearly done. I'm gonna work now towards the last part of the design, which will be the dream heating ability. So I'm gonna head to the affliction advantage. Affliction. So the affliction will be a melee attack. The creature will not be able to do it from a distance. So right from the start in the affliction advantage, all the section about the basic assumption, the basic default affliction with a range and accuracy and rate of fire and recoil and number of shots will be left. I will throw away that. So the victim, in the typical affliction, the victim also resists with its HD. So in this case, this power will work on will, and I will tweak this. So let's begin. So as a limitation, this attack will be melee only, and it will be based on will. Affliction have also levels to be applied on the stats the character is resisting. For example, if you buy 1 level in affliction, it says that if you hit, your victim gets a HD +1 roll to resist. So that would mean this. Affliction 1 and will +1 in this case. It would be HD, but I will change that to will. So I'm giving, and you apply a penalty to the level of affliction you have on your victim. So so automatically the character, it's like this. You have will +1, but you have you have 1 level in it. So yeah, it falls to 0. I want this attack to be hard to land, but if the bite is done, and I'll probably need to add some fangs to my creature. Just 1 second here. Fangs. Fangs here. Fangs. So I will have a bite with impaling damage. I want this attack. Yeah, I want the creature to basically do damage with its claws, but if it bites the victim at the right spot, like in the back, just tasting the spinal fluid, if it does that correctly, it should be hard to resist. So I'm gonna bump up the level of affliction. I'm thinking 5 maybe. Let me check if that makes sense. +1 minus 5. So that would make it will minus 4. That's correct. 4 is doable. A typical will is 10 minus 4. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna have a look at the odds. So in GURPS Basic Set 1 on page 171, you have a little table with probability of success. So if the typical will is 10 and I leave my affliction at level 1, this will give a 50% chance of my target to resist or not. So bringing that down to a 6, that will leave my target with a 9% chance of success. This is the typical human with typical willpower. So that looks pretty good. The typical adventurer could have maybe 12 in willpower, so that brings it to an 8, and that's a 25% probability of success. So these odds looks good to me, so I will leave them as is. Yeah. So I could play a little bit more with enhancements and limitations, but the most important feature of this attack, of this power, of this ability, is the capability of removing memories or dreams, and this to me is inflicting a disadvantage, a permanent disadvantage on the target called amnesia. So so the special enhancement here, you can find it at page 36 in your GURPS basic set. Okay, so the attack is based off will. It's will minus 4. It's a melee attack. And disadvantage. This brings a disadvantage to the person. And the disadvantage will... Normally it's worth plus 1% per point of the temporary disadvantage. They give, for example, paranoia at minus 10, so it would worth plus 10% on the cost of the... but I don't need to bother about that. So the cost, the disad I'm looking for is amnesia and partial amnesia. The idea is that if you're bitten by this creature and you missed your will check, you lose permanently random souvenir, random memories. So that's the amnesia. I couldn't play with the is it temporary, is it permanent? I would say it depends on the size of the dream heater. So I'm gonna do a typical dream heater here. So I would aim for partial amnesia. Partial amnesia. And and straight up they tell you, you the player can see your character sheet, but the GM may reserve up to minus 30 points of your disadvantage allotment for secret disadvantage. So I would I would probably take up to 30 points of character on the player's character sheet and just remove them and not tell the player what I'm going to do with them. So the player would have this really this situation where he wouldn't know what I would do with these points, and he wouldn't remember some skills. You know, if you have a skill very important to you, and I remove all of it, your character technically cannot use this skill unless I'm saying, yeah, you remember that skill. You can place it back on your character sheet. But this gives us, the players, a chance to play with that concept. So this adds, okay. Yeah. So the typical Dream Eaters will, of course, make that permanent. So these creatures will be very feared by the desert people. Let's see. I just need now to extend the duration of the disadvantage, and of course, this is an enhancement on page 105. Extended duration, permanent. Normally, it would be 150% on the cost, but I don't need to bother with that. And let's see, I had one little more thing I wanted to know. Yeah, limitation called Blood Agent. This is to make the attack not an automatic success. So the creature will have to bite in a specific manner, and it will have to reach for spinal fluids, nerve system. So not every blow, not every bite will. Yeah, I'm gonna restrict it to the bite also. Accessibility, bite only. So the creature will not be able to do this with its claws. It will have to be the fang or the bite with a bite. So that is stated and clear now. And the Blood Agent, this will ensure that the attack must reach the mucous membrane or an open wound, or in this case, it will be either nerve system or spinal fluid. Does it take 2N? Let's remove 1. Okay, spinal fluid or nerve system. So the dream eating will be. It's done. It's done. I could fiddle around with more details, but this is pretty much it. This is what I wanted. So the target will need to roll will -4 or gain permanent partial amnesia disadvantage. Now the bite. I just need to finish this creature with the bite. There was a rumble in the ground. What was that? There was an earthquake a few days back, but it didn't shake. It was like a rumble, like a truck. So where was that? I mean, at this point, the creature is really done. So a bite. Oh yeah, the bite damage is normally thrust -1. So the bite would normally be 1 dice minus 0, since I have 1 dice plus 1. So this is thrust -1. So typical bite for a human, for for yeah, the typical byte is thrust -1. So in the animals, chapter 16, page 460, they have a little sidebars on damage for animals. So let's see. Yeah, the claws. Okay, the claws normally would have done also a dice -1. Dice -1 would mean 1 die, and it give +1. Okay. I just did a little correction here. Dice -1. Okay, and that's it. That's it. The byte is calculated. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty fine. So now I'm gonna copy this, do another version of it, young version. So the duration will not be permanent. It will be, let's say, a few days, maybe. Extended duration. Let's see. A typical. The typical, this as you inflict on a person. Is where's the duration? Okay, if a victim makes his HT roll, or will in our case, he is unaffected, but if he fails, he suffers the effect of the affliction. By default, he is stunned. He may roll his HT +1 per once per second to recover, but once again at a penalty equal to the level of infliction. So the person can roll every second to recover at a penalty equal to the level. So in the case of an extended duration, I could go like maybe multiplied by 100, maybe every 100 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Duration multiplied by 100, so every 100 seconds the victim can. I just noticed the DR3 here. Yeah, every 100 seconds the dream heater, the victim of the dream heater can roll against the amnesia. Since the young version of it, I will reduce the DR. I will also reduce the HD. I will also reduce the strength of it. I think 12 should be okay. That will in turn change a whole lot of stats on the sheet. We'll just calculate it quickly. So the basic speed will fall to 6. It will not change the move nor the dodge. The size modifier will be, of course, lower, being just 1x and maybe 200 pounds. The current HP will be 12. The stats meters strength stat will be changing our damage code, thus changing our attack by a factor of 2. So that's -1 here and -2 here. Also so I will reduce the level of the attack maybe to 3. Bring it down to 2. And that's it. I have a young version of the Dream Eaters. A medium-sized Desert Centipede. And so on and so forth. I could do an epic version of it, like the mother of... Let's do this. Let's do the epic version of it. Like, if you encounter this, this is game over. Like the ancient Dream Eater. A huge desert centipede that eats. Okay. Let's go nuts here. I'm gonna base off something. I will not just put a number there and say, yeah, this thing have 30 in strength. No, I will just look up. It could have like the strength of maybe a tiger, a lion, or a giant cat. Let's see. Let's see. Not a deer. Not a... Oh, a bear. Maybe a bear. A small bear, maybe? Ah, that's perfect. A grizzly bear. 19 in strength. That's pretty cool. Larger creature are sometimes slower. So I'm gonna... No, this is the epic ancient version of it. I will... The dexterity will stay the same. So I'm gonna give him like a little boost on the hit points. I'm gonna give him like 5 more hit points. Just cause. Gonna give him a DR of 5. This is like a big, huge creature. Speed is the same, move is the same, dodge will be the same, but the size modifier will differ. I'm gonna make it like huge, crazy huge. The size modifier chart, you can find it in the GURPS basic set characters, page 19. It's a size modifier table, so I'm gonna make it like huge, like 7 yards. 7 yards in size, like 21 feet long. So that's a +3. Like huge, like massive. Yeah. So that's 7 X's or 7 yard long. For the size, let me have a look. I'm gonna double its weight for every size difference. So that's a 2, that's a 3. Like 1 between 1,000 and yeah, nearly a ton. Nearly a ton. 24. The affliction will be the same in intensity, but I'm going to make it duration permanent, of course, and I'm gonna make it a total amnesia. So the creature will grab you, try to eat away all of your past, and then drop you on the floor and go away. A 19 in strength will change, of course, its damage code. I don't have it here, so I'm gonna just place this one and have a look, quick look. at the damage table, page 16. So it's a die plus 1 and 2 die plus 2. Die plus 1, 2 die plus 2. Basic lift will be 72. So it's just a reference of it can pretty much lift somebody and be lightly encumbered by it. So our damage code will be die minus 1 plus 1, and bite will be die minus 1, that's plus 1. Okay, that's it. Total amnesia. This is a huge 21-foot long desert centipede that eats dreams and portion of your past. In this case, it's not portion, it eats dreams and all of your past and memories. This is badass. The impaling striker claws. These claws will be so huge, they will be like impaling, but also I want to make them cutting as well. So I'm gonna just enter a new code. So that will be 2 die minus 1. That's plus 1 here because of my plus 2. And the advantage will give me back this point. So this is 2 dice plus 2. Cutting as well. And yeah, I'm pretty much done. Cutting striker. There you go, the ancient version of it. So I was not going for making different version of the same monster, but there you go. You get the Dream Hater main sequence, you get the younger version, and you got now the ancient version. So a nice addition to my bestiary. So thanks for watching, and go make some monsters.